As an artist trying to build a business and sell your work, one of the most frustrating things can be marketing online, putting posts out there and feeling like they're just going into the ether without any feedback, without any engagement, and without really knowing if you're actually reaching the people who will like and want to buy your art. One of the activities I have done for the last couple of years that has been insanely profitable and valuable to my business so far is getting sales and finding customers who continue to follow and buy from me has been posting in Facebook communities. Now, this is a free thing to do and it's a very simple thing to do, but it is incredibly powerful if you do it right. I've sold literally tens of thousands of dollars worth of work using these communities. And the reason why it works is mainly because local people want to support local people. So if we think about how our business has grown and how it is built, when we first start, our friends and family buy our art first because they know and love us. So they're the first ones to buy from us, because if they like our art and they love us, that's the two things we need to come together: connection and liking the visual thing that we're actually creating. Now, as we grow and expand, we get friends of friends seeing what we're doing, maybe friends of family members. But what the next stage is community, because they have one thing in common with us, which is they live locally. We live in the same communities. And like I say, local people love to support local people. So this is just a natural next step to find that connection piece that exists with generally people you've never even met. If they see you pop up on their feed and they then immediately have something in common with you, which is where you live and where you hang out and the places you love, you immediately have a warm connection lead. So this is the main reason why this is so powerful, and people will love to engage with you and support you. So like I say, this has been incredibly successful for me. I've been trying it in a variety of communities for the last few years. And even though not every post works perfectly, I've had a number of posts, like I say, work very well. One post I put up about a year and a half ago now brought in a $12,000 client. So he saw this post, spent $4,000 with me that week, and then commissioned me to do an $8,000 painting. So this is the power of it, and it's not just me. So artists who I've coached and tried this, I've had artists sell $4,000 paintings doing this exact thing. So it is powerful. I know it works for people, not just me. Artists other than me are making this work. And like I say, super simple. All we need to do is be brave to put ourselves out there. I know that posting in familiar places and community pages can feel a little bit daunting because people might know us, people might see us, and that can often be the hardest thing as an artist, showing up and being seen, especially by people that know us. However, if you can be brave and push past these fears, the potential upside of this, for the reasons I've just explained, will far, far outweigh any feelings that you would have had, and you'll be so, so pleased that you did this. So what I'm going to do today is take you through the process of how you can choose some groups to join, how to create good posts, both looking at, the things to consider when you're choosing the media, so photos, and what to write, because that's really key. A lot of posts I see are very generic. They blend into the background. They don't grab my attention. They feel very businessy, and they are the things that you will not get engagement to those. So having a real clear plan around how you're going to feel warm and engaging and make people feel like you are talking to them is really key. And then I'll just talk a bit about how you can make this part of your weekly routine and marketing routine. Okay, I'm going to take you to Facebook now, and we're going to get into the first part, which is choosing the communities to join. Okay, so we're now in my Facebook page dashboard within Facebook, and you'll see down here I have a number of groups that I am a part of. So specifically, you'll see here one that I have had really good success with and I post in regularly, although I haven't done recently, so I will be tonight as a reminder to myself today, is the Shop Local Shop Howick page. So this is my local community Howick. There's 13,000 members and it's a very active page. Now, just something to note, I was able to join as a page. And what I mean by that is some communities, well, you'll come into the community when you search for it and find it, and it will say that you can't join as a page. Now, if this looks like a really good opportunity, like something like this, where it's very specifically your community, I would go to your private page and I would still post under your personal profile. And what you can then do there is when you do post, you can link people to your business page and still get good engagement. So don't let that put you off. Some might say you specifically cannot share anything about your businesses, but I'm going to show you a way to post in which I think you'll find most pages will be pretty open to you posting, because you'll be doing it in a very warm way. It won't be in a salesy, sleazy way that's screaming, buy from me, buy from me. So how did I find that page? Well, search Facebook tool at the top left hand corner here, and what you want to do is search your area. So for example, I live in Howick, and so what will come up here is a number of opportunities for me to there's pages and then there's groups. So I want to look at the groups. Okay, we want to specifically be hunting down groups, and then what you'll probably find is some slightly wider areas. So for example, Botany Downs is just a little bit further away, but still very close to me. So this is something I might actually join, and in fact I'm going to join right now. So I'm going to check that out, and I might give that a trial tonight when I post. So half of the battle is just giving things a go when it comes to any marketing, right? Don't be, and half of the battle of you actually going through this process will be worrying about what people think of you. Will people I know see me and they'll judge me? We have to put that aside and realize the potential benefit of you doing this far outweighs any negative feeling that we're worried about other people having, when they probably won't even see what you're doing. So you can see here, you could technically have a look through all of these. Packering a Howick Botany buy and sell. Buy and sell pages will tend to be a little bit more like, hey, I have like these secondhand things. I'm not sure they will be particularly useful when it comes to getting feedback. Grapevine pages are good. So generally they refer to just kind of like, a community links, and they'll have some rules that you can have a look through here. But I don't think there's any problem with just giving some posts a try. And if the admins don't like what you're posting, they'll take it down. But I would be highly surprised if what you're going to post here about your art business is going to be offensive. If anything, it's going to be really enjoyed and entertaining for the community. So this is another Grapevine page I actually haven't joined. I'm going to join it right now. And what I'm just trying to show you here is there is nothing wrong with joining a number of pages, and in fact I highly recommend you try and join 4 to 8 pages and just starting to test out your posts. Just see what kind of response you get, and over a month you'll start to get a feeling as to what ones actually really work well for you. So yeah, there might be a number of groups that you join, and I highly recommend that it is more than one. But what I found in the 2 communities I've been posting in the last few years, when I was living a few hours away from here, and since moving here, is that 1 or 2 tend to perform really well, and you want to focus your efforts there. However, as always, it's important to kind of spread your bets, and if you're already posting once, there's no reason why you shouldn't post the same thing in another group. You'll be capturing different people's attention. So like I say, join a number of these. A lot of these ones are allowing me to join as a page, which is great. Some of them will say that you can't join, like I say, and in which case I still recommend, if you think they could be really valuable to you and really specific around what the people you're trying to find, which is the people in your community, I would join in your swap here. So you can see if I click on the top right hand corner of Facebook, I can go to my personal page and I can join through that. The ideal is that you join as your art page, because then anyone who likes that post, you are able to invite to like your page, which is obviously invaluable on Facebook. Okay, so you'll see here now I've joined, how many have I got here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 pages. Are there any more that look pretty good? Auckland free events? No. You want pages with at least a couple of thousand people in them, because it shows they've probably got some good traction and they've been going for a while, and they've got how it business. I'm going to join that one. It's always great to be posting in business related groups, because you have no idea what kind of business related collaborations that could come from this. Some of the most lucrative things in my business have been creating projects for businesses, whether that's doing art for a big business and their, in one of their rooms, or whether it's corporate gifting, which I've done as well, and had multi, 5-figure contracts from things like that. So that for me is like, okay, I should really be in that How It Business group, and I'm going to have a good look at that later on, and start posting in there also. So you'll get a feeling here of what to try. There's a variety of grapevines, shopping pages, business pages, and I'm going to give them all a go. Okay, so that's step 1. Step 2, what kind of images and what kind of copy descriptions do I use? And I'm just going to flip across to this little resource that I've created a while ago, but still super relevant, and I will make this available again today with this training. And this is, I'm showing you 4 examples of posts that have been very good for me, done really well for me, and they have a slightly different angle so far as what I'm saying, what I'm talking about. But you can take the copy. What I've done is I've taken a screenshot of the actual post, but then I've actually copied taken the copy so that you can actually copy and paste this and make it your own. Obviously, you need to make it your own. Very important. But this will give you the bones. And there's a couple of things I want to point out here. First of all, you'll see the photos I use. I always have one of me in the photo, okay? Please get used to putting photos of you with your art, because in a world where there is constant noise on the internet, constant stuff, photos of you will stop people. They will go, who's that? Oh, that's a person with their art. They buy you and they buy your art because you are the storyteller who's creating the beautiful art. Okay, we've got to get used to that, especially in these kinds of posts where you're trying to get that community engagement. People want to see you. And then you'll see I've got a couple of my most, my most recent, but also my most striking pieces of art that stops the scroll. I often like to I generally either use 1 or 2 photos, or 4, because it creates a nice grid like this. But this was the one I put up that I was telling you about that created the $12,000 client. Okay, this is how simple this was. I got a $12,000 client from this one post. So if you're hesitating doing this, please think twice, because my goodness, the value, the benefit is so great if it hits the mark with the right person, and you don't know who's going to see it. And like I say, I've literally just said, hi neighbors, I'm Lucy and I've just moved back. And this could be whether you've just moved back somewhere or not. It's just, hi neighbors, I'm so-and-so and I live in the area and I wanted to introduce my art to you. This is what I do. This is kind of the stuff I've got going on. If you're looking for something unique and local, I've got some great ideas for you, and I hope you like it, and looking forward to sharing more with you soon. And I put my website there, and I make a few notes about having free pickup, so if they want to come and pick up from my home. So this generated lots of comments, people saying, hey, so nice that you're here and love your art. And the more comments you get, the more people see it, and so on and so on. So I see a lot of artists posting content that just looks generic. So it might just be a photo of their art in a room or on an easel, and then, it's very business-like. I've been working on this lately, and that doesn't warm anyone up when you're just immediately going into something that's relevant to you. How do you make it relevant to them? How do you connect with them with your posts? And immediately talking in a way that you're like, we are connected. That's why I like to start with hi neighbors with a lot of my posts. And I'll show you some other examples of how you can kind of still create connecting posts in a minute. But the hi neighbors is a real good one, because people are immediately like, oh, this is one of my neighbors. How lovely. Okay, so really think about the language. moving down, another example here is, thanks to everyone who stopped by while I was painting at Pilot Bay today. So I went out and I painted outside, plein air style, and I talked to lots of people, and I just posted about it. I got 1.4k likes and 105 comments on this in the community page. So you can imagine how many people ended up following my page after this, because I was able to invite all of those people to follow me. So it was hundreds. So, I'm talking directly to the people who live in our area and talking about what a great place we live. So these are really warm kind of storytelling, but connecting posts. They're not me trying to be like, recently I was inspired by this and I've created this, and if you're interested, please note that this and this and this. It's, you can say those things, but it's the way you say it, the way you kind of warm people into your post. So I think the reason why the last two I showed you are very successful, because I've started with hi neighbors and thanks to everyone who stopped by. So it immediately makes people go, oh, was that me? Or is that me? And so they immediately engage, which is what we want. Again, another example of another successful hey neighbors post, and talking about a sale I was having. So when I was at the Mount and I had my studio, and I'm not at this point yet because we haven't built my studio back where we are yet, but I would have an open day quite regularly, and I just post something like this. You can see here I'm opening my Mount Maunganui studio just for 3 hours on Saturday and Sunday. And I would often sell somewhere between, I don't know, I think my worst days were 300 or 400 and my best days were kind of 4,000. If I had a big painting sale, on average, I would make $700 or $800 when I did this on a weekend. So very worthwhile, and mainly because people saw these posts. So more often than not, when people came over, they'd be like, actually, I've seen your posts a few times now. We keep saying we've got to come over. So that's important feedback. So people are seeing these posts, not always coming the first time, but after they've seen it the third time, they go. So this is why it's really important to keep showing up and keep saying, I'm here, I'm here. So again, that's some good copy that you can copy from this and make your own. This was something I put in a bird lovers group. This is another angle that when you're choosing a group, I paint bird art. So, and I didn't talk about that actually before, and I should have. If you do landscapes, if you do, you paint specific wildlife, find the groups with the lovers of those things. So I'm a part of a lot of New Zealand bird groups with thousands of members, and this is one that I put in there. And I just share, I wanted to share my latest painting with you. So talking directly to the person, again, very warm. This is the first time I'd painted the karearea, which I'm probably not saying right. It's a Maori word for the New Zealand falcon. And I talk a bit about how I love the bird and what I've called it, and I hope you enjoy it. And it gets lots of engagement. So simple things you can try, different angles, but always warm, always warm. And so these things are ideas of how you can constantly post in groups, and plug these things into Claude AI, which is a version of ChatGPT that I now use and highly recommend, Claude, and throw in these examples and say, hi, I just need some other ideas of how I could create some very warm posts like this and for content over the next few months, and it will give you ideas that you can work with if you're struggling with that. So this is your baseline. Start with these, and then as you get warmed up and you find that you're getting good engagement and good results, you can go further. But a side note as well, please never ever just share your existing posts from your page into these groups. They will not get looked at. Anything that's shared is quite obviously shared, and I think immediately, for me, I won't look at it. I'm turned off, and I think most people are. So please never just share. Create a singular post in the group, and you can obviously copy that post across a number of groups, but don't ever just share a post from your main page. You won't get the same engagement, I promise you. So that is a summary of the right media. So always a photo of you. Don't put too many photos in. I would avoid, videos aren't as successful, I found. Photos seem to be better on Facebook. But you could try a video if you want. There's nothing wrong with trying it. but you'll probably have to start with you in it talking if you want success with that format. Now, finally, if you want to get some good traction with doing this regularly, I highly recommend that you create a little schedule for yourself and you try to post in groups once a week. So you might say Wednesday, Thursday nights are pretty good. I find that 7 till 8 or 6 till 8 o'clock are quite active times on Facebook. And I would always post within those times myself. And what you're going to do is, if you have, say, 4 to 8 or 4 to 10 groups, I would have it on a schedule that every week you post in at least a couple of those groups. So you might be showing up in one group once a month, but you're consistently showing up once a month, and that's really great. If you're quite confident and you want to be showing up more, that's fine. But I would just start to test the waters. I think there's a balance between showing up too often and then you kind of lose. If you show up too often, you lose that. It can sometimes become same in those groups. So I think once a month, twice max is good, and you can alternate between those groups. But have something that goes up once a week to a couple of groups, and for example, that month you can just use the same post within a couple of groups every week. And once you get that confidence, you can build on that. You'll know what's working and you can keep going from there. So I hope this has been useful. Please try it. I promise you're going to get some kind of result from it if you do this well and do it properly. And don't give up. If one doesn't work out, don't just stop there. Keep going. You will not know until you've done this every week for a couple of months as to whether this is actually going to give you results. And like I say, when you get good results, like I've explained to you, I have had, and other artists I've coached in the past have had, I know it's worthwhile. It's so worthwhile. If you love this training, I do one of these every week. Make sure you subscribe so you don't miss it. And I will see you next week for another insight into my art building business, because I love to share these things and help others grow in a world that sometimes feels a little bit mysterious and secretive.